Now, job development dollars actually are becoming commingled with energy efficiency, water management, and guess what? New business development. And thanks to a push from the U.S. Council of Mayors, the 2007 Federal Energy Bill had $2 billion in block grants to go to cities over the next 2 years for energy efficiency programs and strategic planning. So we need to create plans that'll address the mayor's problems if you guys want some of that money. So let's go get, the tax-free bonds, the tax abatements, the outright subsidies for clean tech projects instead of the typical dirty tech magnets that generally receive that kind of government support right now. And the EPA just released a report saying that low-impact developments, strategies and practices like vegetated surfaces everywhere, on rooftops and street medians and so on, are across the board much, much more cost-effective at dealing with water management issues than traditional end-of-pipe solutions. Now, they don't solve the problem entirely, but you'll always need sewer systems, obviously. But these can significantly reduce infrastructure costs while producing other benefits, such as new industries, like whether you've got really efficient gray water and irrigation systems. Somebody's got to design these, and I'm sure there's plenty more out there that I just can't even think of. But these are new industries, and they can be developed in areas that need the investment in jobs, and they cannot be outsourced. And the Social Investment Forum and Co-op America actually have launched the 1% or more for a community campaign to encourage institutions across the country to put their banking and their investment dollars to work to strengthen communities that have been traditionally left behind. So foundations are investing in companies that promote the aims of their giving as a way of extending their ability to seed change. They're investing not for maximum cash return, but they're investing for okay cash return with great social and environmental returns. And there are lots of dollars that can support those ground floor efforts in underserved communities. And these ventures will often attract other incentives to investment, such as large labor markets that can be trained by a very wide array of strong nonprofit partners in the job training and placement world. And let's take advantage of all that social investment infrastructure out there now to establish clean tech industries, businesses fast and with some fairness. It's this kind of enlightened thinking that's going to happen now, and I hopefully in this room, means jobs for people locally. It means money stays in our local economy. It means that people who were once considered problems are to be dealt with are now part of our solution. And I want to work with some clean tech industries to help them beat out the traditional recipients of incentives in the dirty economy, such as stadiums, jails, and big box stores. You can all position yourselves to take advantage of that trend. And actually, we've already developed a survey tool for cities to take advantage of the resources that certain projects are able to bring together to pursue. But we're working on one for businesses as well, and I'm happy to talk with you about that later. But these things, honestly, are just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what's out there to support what you're doing that also supports what we're trying to accomplish, which is have jobs and breathe at the same time. And for its part, and we really want to help you to navigate through all of this really soon. And for its own part, Sustainable South Bronx is working to create a really inspiring clean tech future for itself. For example, this is a eco-industrial park. And so we're thinking things like greener roofs, et cetera, solar panel manufacturing. But our eco-industrial center is a collection of businesses that process and use recycled materials on a 25-acre lot with good barge and rail access. Here we go. And it's going to incorporate jobs, citywide solid waste mitigation, fewer trucks, greenway development, and a more healthy future for South Bronx residents. And this is the real reason why we're doing it. We live in one of the richest congressional districts, we live in one of the richest cities in this world, and we are the poorest congressional district in this country. And for this kind of poverty to exist, in this country is a little frightening, but it does. But again, in communities like the ones that I live in right now, those jobs are an amazingly beautiful vision. Unfortunately, right now, that vision is under imminent threat by the city of New York, who's planning on building a 2,000-bed jail on the same exact site. So while we're saying, clean tech for a better future, better environment, better business climate, et cetera, New York City is talking about jails. And like many cities around the country right now, they've worked on a sustainability plan. And I do find it kind of hard to believe that they actually would consider those 2,000 beds a part of their affordable housing scheme. Maybe if any of you know Mr. Bloomberg, you should talk to him about that. And, but But we have to remember that it is the same practices that have given us excess carbon, in our air and all the other, toxic industry. They also entrench poverty. And why aren't we also thinking about putting a cap on our poverty emissions? We can do that at the same time, because green means that multiple benefits. You can get multiple benefits with the same exact dollar if we coordinate the life of that dollar with practices and policies that help it go where it needs to go. Green for All is a national campaign spearheaded by the legendary Van Jones and me as trusty sidekick. And then we really do plan to use the green economy to move people out of poverty. And we need a top-down approach as well as a grassroots bottom-up approach as well. Van was really instrumental in getting the Green Jobs Bill Act, in the, believe it or not, the federal energy bill too. And it was a major first, and it was just the beginning as far as legislation and support from that way goes. But also, thinking about the bottom-up stuff, making sure that communities are considered allies in this struggle for a green economy as well. And we believe that all of our solutions have to incorporate poverty alleviation through policies that acknowledge and then mitigate the environmental inequities that poor communities have traditionally experienced. America needs a Green New Deal. Government investment on the scale of the Marshall Plan. I've heard tons of people today talk about we need more R&D. Absolutely. We also need more incentives and funding and regulations to make clean tech industries with green-collar jobs flourish right here at home. And the private sector needs to really go green by investing in clean tech industries, especially in the communities used to support the hyperconsumption that got us all into the mess that we're all in right now. It's a really smart business move, and smart investors who get in on the ground floor of a new market in underserved communities will often find incentives to investment. There's a large labor market that usually goes untapped. Yes, they're definitely going to need training, but that can be solved with a strong nonprofit partner who'll do that training and which will cultivate community goodwill by hiring locally. And not to mention the amazing PR you'll get from both the community and on the business innovation side. So investing in the eco-industrial park in the South Bronx. Michaela actually has some feasibility studies of what we did already around the eco-industrial parks, and we're happy to share those with you. Even a solar panel factory in Oakland or east of Truston, Kansas City, Missouri. I'm talking the South Bronx and Newark and coal country. It's like, we need to stop ripping off those poor people's mountaintops at this point. So we have to do that. And yes, the black girl from the South Bronx is talking about solidarity with poor white folks. Period. This is what this world is coming to. Thank God. So we have to think about how do we create markets and products for services that we actually can finally be proud of instead of making excuses about. Imagine a country like that. And all the land use plans that benefit people first. Educated, happy, and healthy people with supported families is a tremendous step on the road to sustainable social justice. And they are the seeds of the next middle class, which is evaporating right before our very eyes. So I got to tell you, when Martin Luther King stood up on that mountaintop and we just celebrated, his life just a couple weeks ago, I don't think he looked out and saw 25% of the world's population in jail out there. I'm sure he didn't see, toxic industries creeping up all over the place. And I don't think any of us do, and I know I didn't see it because I was there, and I'm sure you all were too. And he wasn't alone, and there is room up there, and guess what? The promised land is green for all, and I hope that, we have been building lots and lots of monuments to our collective failures. But wouldn't we rather build some tributes to our future and hope and possibility? That's what I'm trying to do. I hope you'll join me. Thank you.